Morning, everybody, and welcome to the virtual Planning and Zoning Commission hearing for May 6th, 2020 for Lake Havasu City. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Jim
I am
Harris,
here.
Lucas Steele,
Would you-
Lucas Steele,
Would you hang on just a second, Maria?
sure.
If everybody can hear me, I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment here. You're going to need to unmute yourself and then mute yourself again when you speak. We can't control it here from this end, so we're going to be relying on you. So when you hear your name called, unmute, say yes or no, and then mute again, please. Maria, go ahead.
Lucas Steele, Michael Gordon,
Here.
Doug Hardy,
Here.
Donald Bergen, Mr. Bergen,
He's here. He said here.
yes.
Here.
Dan McGowan,
Honey,
Chad
are you
Nixon.
on mute or unmute?
Unmute now.
Hit unmute.
Chad Nelson,
Here.
Susanna Ballard,
Here.
Okay, Mr. Morris, are there? Well, let's start by doing the minutes of last meeting. Are there any? You've all been provided the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or anything to the minutes? If so, go ahead and say something. If not, we'll take your silence as a no. Okay, there are none. So I will entertain a motion by one of you folks to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
If it says,
Second.
We have a motion made by Doug Hardy and a second by Chad Nelson to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and I guess we're gonna have to do a roll call vote. Madam Secretary?
Jim Harris,
Yes.
Lucas Steele, oops, I'm sorry, Michael Gordon,
Yes.
Doug Hardy,
Yes.
Donald Bergen,
Yes.
Dan McGowan,
Yes.
Chad Nelson,
Yes.
and Susanna Ballard. Susanna Ballard,
You have to unmute
Yes.
first, Susanna. Okay,
Yes.
got it. All right, motion passes. Correspondence and announcements, Mr. Morris.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. I have no announcements or correspondence at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Let me start by saying that this is a public hearing, a virtual public hearing, and there is a structured order to this proceeding. The city staff will present each item. There will be time for the commission to ask questions of the staff, and then the applicant will have the opportunity to present their case to the commission. That being done, we will then open the proceeding to comments. And after public comments, I will then bring the motion back to the table for city staff's recommendation, discussion amongst the commission, and eventually a motion to approve or disapprove. Excuse me. The first item on today's agenda is ID 20-2356. It is a request to rezone 1850 Bahama Avenue, tract 115, block 4, lots 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23 and tract 115, block 5, lots 1 through 9 from R-M/PD, which is multiple family plan development district, to R-M, which is multifamily district. Mr. Morris, your presentation, please.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Michael. I have to recuse myself. I am actually the applicant on this item.
Okay, we have noted that Mr. Gordon is recusing himself and will not be participating in this item.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
And I would like at this time to seat Miss Ballard, who is an alternate in place of Mr. Gordon. So Susanna, you are active. Okay, Mr. Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Do you see on your screen on my PowerPoint slideshow at this point?
Yes.
Are you seeing on your screen the PowerPoint?
I believe so. I've got the
All right.
item up there.
All right, thank you. So
That's what he's,
Yes.
As you were describing, this is a request for a rezone from multiple family RM planned development to the underlying, go back to the underlying base zoning of RM multiple family. The subject property is located on Bahama Avenue, east of Lake Havasu Avenue, North Lake Havasu Avenue, and it abuts Bahama Avenue on the south side. It also has another access off of the end of Bimini Lane. There are a total of 15 lots in here, and also portions of right-of-way that were abandoned for 2 cul-de-sacs. Those were for Pacer Lane and Orion Lane. Those were abandoned, and these lots were part of an originally approved subdivision called Sonoran Hills Condominiums. Now, this was 240 units, about 17 acres of property. And at the time in 2003, when this was approved, the plan development rezone was approved, the requirement was if you had more than 4 acres of land to develop, you had to go through the plan development process. So that's why they went through the plan development process for this case. Those rules from 2003 are no longer apply. The development code has been updated. We don't have that requirement now. We don't have that threshold for a plan development for anything over 4 acres. So at this point, the applicant is asking to, again, rezone, remove the plan development portion because that previously approved subdivision for Bahama, the Sonoran Hills condominium did not move forward, and it's been abandoned. And at this point, they're asking again for the rezone to remove the plan development to go to the underlying RM. Now, the zoning around the subject property to the north is zoned light industrial, and it's developed with some storage units and some other light industrial type uses. On either side of the property, it's zoned RM, which is the zoning they're asking to go back to. And then to the south off of Biscayne Lane, it's zoned R1. It backs to those lots that face Biscayne Lane, and those are lots are zoned R1. The RM zoning district allows up to 20 units per acre and a maximum height of 30 feet. So again, they're just asking to go from the current plan development back to the underlying RM multiple family zoning district. And in case we need it, I have a couple slides here that show the permitted uses in the RM zoning district, which are largely, as you would imagine, residential uses. So with that, I conclude my presentation, open any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions of staff by the commissioners? Anybody? Okay. We don't have any applicant here today to make any comments, and I believe there weren't any comments submitted for this. Am I correct? No comments were submitted, so I believe at this point we can bring the issue to the table for a motion to approve or disapprove or discussion.
Mr. Commissioner, I am here if anybody has any questions.
Oh, I apologize. Mr. Gordon is representing the applicant. Any questions?
No.
Any questions of Mr. Gordon? Mr. Bergen, were you going to say something?
Say no, dear, because you pushed the button. Don, they're asking you to say something.
No.
Thank you. I think it's a consensus of the commissioners that there are no questions, Mr. Gordon. So we'll bring it back to the table for staff recommendations. Mr. Morris.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Staff findings and recommendation. Staff finds the request meets all the requirements set forth in section 140504 K6 of the Lake Havasu City Development Code. Based on the findings, the Development Review Committee recommends approval of the request to rezone 1850 Bahama Avenue, tract 115, block 4, lots 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23, and tract 115, block 5, lots 1 through 9, from RMPD, Multiple Family Plan Development District, to RM, Multiple Family District. And just as a note, the commission's recommendation will go to the city council at their June 9th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. We are at the table for discussion. Any questions or discussion by the commissioners?
Luke, I just want to confirm.
Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. I just want to confirm that the ID number is 20-2356. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I
Yeah,
move to
correct.
recommend approval of land use action number 20-2356, rezoning 1850 Bahama Avenue, tract 115, block 4, lots 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23, and tract 115, block 5, lots 1 through 9, from RMPD to RM.
Do we have a second?
I second.
it.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Nelson, a second by Mr. McGowan to approve ID 202356 with staff's recommendation. Any further discussion on the item? Okay, I hear no discussion, so let's put it to the vote. Mr. McGowan seconded it. Madam Secretary, if you'd call the roll call vote.
Thanks. Jim Harris,
Yes.
Michael Gordon, oh, sorry, Doug Hardy. Doug
Yes.
Hardy. Donald Bergen,
Don Bergen, yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Chad Nelson,
Yes.
Did you get Susanna?
and Susanna Ballard.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're unanimous. Good luck, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you.
Okay, I see no other business before us for the meeting. Mr. Morris, future meetings?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Yes. The next regular scheduled meeting is for May 20th, 2020. We do have an item for that. That's 2 weeks from now. And we anticipate we'll be doing it the same way. So it seems like we're working the bugs out. Thank you for your patience and your creativity on this.
Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody, for
Mr.
participating.
Chairman, just for the record, we do have open to the public, but we did not have any comments.
Oh, for the record, we need to do a call to the public. If there's anybody in the public that wishes to speak, but we have an empty auditorium, so.
We did
And there
not
were
see
no
any
comments, so-
It was all.
Nothing submitted. All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.